Hello and welcome to Talk Magazine's webinar covering AI for merchant and distributor operations. I'm Jonathan Harker, editor of Talk Magazine, and I'll be hosting today's discussion. We're going to be focusing on artificial intelligence and how that can be used by distributors and wholesalers to help make more confident business decisions. So if you're looking for real-world insights into how artificial intelligence can make a positive difference to your business, then you're in the right place. Merlin Business Software from Aptean are here to guide us through this topic with ideas for distributors, wholesalers, and business leaders who are looking to improve visibility, reduce their reactive decision making, and understand how AI can support their day-to-day operations. We're delighted to be joined by Kelly Stafford, Regional Account Manager at Aptean, and Ollie Wilson, Account Manager for Merlin ERP at Aptean. Kelly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, John. So yes, you're quite right. I'm Kelly Stafford from Merlin Business Software. I'm the regional account manager, or sales manager, as is known outside of the Aptean universe. Today, we're going to look at some of the AI functionality that we have been developed. We're so excited to bring this to you. So having been with the company for 12 years, joining in 2014, seeing the developments and the changes in the software during that time has been absolutely incredible, a real privilege to do, and I'm really excited to show you the new sort of AI functionality that we have now. So over the next 15 minutes or so, I want to talk more about AI. I know it's on a lot of people's minds right now, and what it actually means for our customers, for merchants, distributors, and you know what, it can be a minefield. It can feel a little bit overwhelming. So we're going to try and avoid all the hype and the jargon, and we're just going to take a real practical look at where we are, where things are heading. And what the art of possible looks like for businesses like yours. So the title of the session, From Visibility to Possibility, I think that phrase captures exactly what we want to explore today, because I think a lot of businesses, well, quite often already have some level of visibility. So really what we're talking about is what comes next. So let me start by grounding this in what I do hear from our customers, our prospects, merchants and distributors every single day. So, you know, you're operating in an environment that's defined by constant decision making, of course. You know, every single day, teams are balancing stock, pricing, supply, service. We're all under pressure, we're at pace, and there's limited time really just to step back and look at this stuff. So managing that complexity at every level with, you know, some have got multi-site inventory. Customers quite often expect more, faster. You know, we've got the likes of Amazon and you know, same-day deliveries. So you know, we've got to move quick, and most businesses have invested significantly in tools to help with this. We've got dashboards, alerts, reports. You know, there is much more visibility than ever before. But here's the thing I hear over and over again. Visibility doesn't just resolve problems, it shows you they exist. So when a dashboard turns red, someone still has to interpret it. Someone has to decide what matters. Someone has to call a supplier, check another system, pull together a spreadsheet. I'm sure I'm sort of saying things that are familiar to you guys. So most people are then spending the day firefighting. So we've got capable people spending what can be hours chasing data instead of just, well, using it, I suppose. And that's the reality. You know, it's not a technology problem, it's a workflow problem. And that's exactly what AI, done well, is starting to solve. So this slide shows what that cycle can look like in practice. We've got dashboard, fires the alert, manual replanning can kick in. We've got then phone calls, spreadsheets, gut decisions, a meeting potentially gets scheduled. Then we've got follow-ups that are created from the back of that meeting. More work can be generated. And all that's happening while you're trying to keep the operation moving, the day-to-day business is happening. And I think for the last decade, the industry has invested heavily in visibility, and that investment absolutely matters. We need to know what's happening. But the bottleneck, I suppose, has never been the data. It's what happens after that alert fires. So, generic AI has given us some progress, faster predictions, earlier disruption forecasting, better recommendations. But those recommendations can still land with a human. So they're still creating reports, and reports are creating the meetings, and meetings are then creating the work. So the bottleneck can actually just remain exactly where the speed, performance, and resilience tend to break down somewhat. So better decisions is what we're sort of looking at now, and at its core, AI does a few things well. It does spot patterns across the data that are simply too complex or too fast moving for a person to track manually. So it surfaces the issues and opportunities that matter the most. At the moment, they're relevant, but not after the fact. It supports your team with context and recommendations, so decisions are faster. We can make them with more confidence. It's learning from your operational data over time and getting more useful the longer it's in place. The shift that creates, I think, is significant. Instead of reacting to problems, we're preventing them. Instead of chasing data, the team is acting on insight. And instead of manual replanning, workflows, they're just happening automatically. And instead of decisions being made too late, we're now making them at the right time. And so this is it's not a technology pitch. That's just a different way of running operations. And that's what we're going to explore in this session. You'll also be seeing a real-time sort of demonstration overview from Ollie as well, who we've also got on the call. So what's the shift that actually moves things forward in practice? Where do we start? This is where the concept of vertical AI becomes important, and I'm going to try and explain it more simply because it does matter. Generic AI is broad. It's trained across industries, it's generating predictions, it can be genuinely useful, but sometimes has no context for your operations and your business. It doesn't necessarily understand, if we're using a generic platform, how a fasteners merchant is going to price a product. It doesn't necessarily know how a multi-site distributor is going to manage their stock across their branches. It does produce insight, but it can land in the workflow rather than something, another thing to act on, something you can action. That's where vertical AI is different. It's trained on industry data, on industry workflows, on the actual decisions that the operations like yours make every day. It's understanding that context. And that means instead of producing a report that someone needs to interpret, it can surface the risks, clarify the priorities, and support decisions automatically within the systems you already use. And we're gonna touch on that shortly with Ollie. But the result isn't just faster insight, it's the removal of that human bottleneck that slows everything down. Okay, so imagine that your system flags a potential stock out on a fast moving line 3 days before it becomes critical. So before the customer calls, before the problem lands on a desk with somebody, you've got time to act, and that's a different world. Imagine AI that can look across your entire product range and highlight where margin is being eroded. Not after the month-end review, but right now in the accounts most at risk. But no report needed, no meeting to schedule, the information's there. Imagine picking discrepancies identified and escalated instantly. So reducing fulfillment errors, protecting service levels before the customer's even noticed it's not happened, So you're getting ahead and you're proactively getting those things sorted. And imagine getting early warnings on supplier delays cross-referenced against the order book, so that ahead of your busiest periods, You're not scrambling to react because you've already planned for it. You've seen it coming. And none of these are hypothetical. These are examples, but there are many more potential scenarios where AI can help. And this is the direction AI in our industry is heading. The question, I suppose, isn't whether it will happen, it's how quickly you want to adopt it and be part of it. Okay, so here we've got App Central with AI at its core. So this is where we're going to sort of dig into what we're building at Aptean, and specifically within our Merlin Business Software, or Merlin ERP. Aptean's intelligence platform brings the capability together through 3 connected layers. At the center of Aptean's intelligence platform is App Central, which you should be able to see on screen there. Think of that as the hub with AI at the core, built with the industry that we're talking to now in its DNA. App Central is the unified platform, and it connects Merlin ERP with pre-built industry-focused applications. So what we mean there is if we have customers using additional Aptean products, they're all linking together through this one platform, so we can get the most out of the data. And it's creating a single source of truth for the operations. So there are no complex bespoke integrations. It's one login and one workspace. And what makes App Central different is that it's built, and I've said this so many times, I feel I'm repeating myself, but it's built for your industry and not adapted from a generic platform. It's designed specifically for wholesale, merchant, distribution operations, which means the intelligence it services is relevant from day one. Now, we also have AI agents, which are role-based. They monitor the operations, they surface issues, suggest actions, and automate routine decisions. They're not generic AI agents, but agents built with the context of merchant and distribution operations in mind. And that's something, again, Ollie will show you shortly. And finally, Aptean Intelligence as a Service, it's about practical adoption. So we know that deploying AI can feel daunting. These are the conversations I'm having all the time. And it's how we can support you, from the strategy through to deployment, ongoing optimization, so you're getting the value without overcommitment. Now, what's important to understand is that with these capabilities within Aptean and ERP, it's part of how the system works, and it's App Central being the company's intelligent home base. It's a single place where you can go to access tools you're relying on, interact with business systems, and just get work done. But to understand why this matters, I think it does help to look at how businesses are operating today. Because if we step back and we look at a typical operation, whether it's food and beverage, whether it's fasteners and fixings, whether it's builders, merchants, it's usually looking something like this. So I think this slide captures well what we're talking about. It's starting with the ability to simply talk to the system about your business and your data in plain language, without needing to know which report to run or which screen to navigate to. So I think that's the starting point. Then from there, the intelligence can work across 4 dimensions. It can show you what matters, cutting through the noise to surface the things that genuinely needs attention right now. So it can do the work for you, handling routine, repeatable tasks that currently consume your team's time. It can also deliver the outcome, completing end-to-end workflows rather than just flagging an issue for someone else to resolve, if you want it to. It's not losing that human element. It helps level us up. We're helping a team build capability and confidence over time, so the value can then compound. And what's important to understand, I think, is that the capabilities are available with both Aptean and Merlin ERP, and we're not bolting it in. It's part of how the system works. Okay, so without further ado, I think everyone's here to have a look at what we're actually talking about. So I'm going to hand over to Ollie, and he's going to show you an overview demo. Hi, Ollie. Over to you.
Hiya, Kelly. Hiya. Thank you very much. That was fantastic. Yeah, just a little introduction from myself, everyone. I'm an account manager here at Merlin ERP. I actually came from a Merlin customer originally, so I've used the software for quite a while. I'm very, very excited to show everyone what we've got behind the curtain, so to speak, today. Just basically just building on what Kelly's just presented there. So let's just dive straight into it. I'm going to do the customary, can everybody see my screen? I'm hoping they can.
I got you, Ollie. Yes, I've got it.
Fantastic. Okay, so basically today I'm going to be talking about the sort of three main pillars behind App Central and what we feel that Merlin is going to be an absolute game changer for our customers. I'm pretty sure that phrase game changer is being thrown around a lot in software at the moment, but from experience, we've worked with our customers for a long time, and this is genuinely a game changer, especially for Merlin ERP customers and future Merlin ERP customers. So the three key things I'm going to talk about are workspaces, insights, and then our Gen AI query, all of which are built on our in-house Aptean AI software, basically, that we're investing millions and millions and millions of pounds into. So yeah, really excited to show that. So the first one I'm going to go into is workspaces. Now, imagine being able to log in on a morning, you're coming into work, you know how it is. Sometimes your head's a bit frazzled, you're a bit all over the place, you don't know what the day's got in store for you. That's why we've built workspaces, okay? We've got different workspaces for different employees within the business. So we're going to go into the executive role workspace first. This is designed for like a chief executive, managing director, financial director, sales director kind of situation here. So basically, straight away, our AI is put in front of this operative what it feels is applicable for their position or role. Now, this is all test data, so it's going to be a lot of statistics put in front of you, but it's just for the purpose of this demonstration. So the first piece, better business decisions. Again, it's got some approvals in there. So approve air freight on some backlog assemblies, and then recover some Q2 OTD above 90%. Again, some other bits and bobs, some workforce talent retention bits. Then this is the bit that I think is sort of really cool and really the foundation of any successful business, revenue and sales growth. So again, we can scroll down here. On-time delivery to Apex Drive has fallen to 82.4% over 30 days. The beautiful thing is with App Central, and it's so intuitive, you can basically go in and dig into that using our Gen AI piece, which we're going to do now. So help me dig in on this. Again, straight away, it's giving you all the insights that you need in detail. It's giving you an action plan. Normally, this would be, we've all been there. You're literally putting together a plan. Your papers stacked here. You've got a whiteboard here. You've got loads of tabs open. That's a beautiful thing with App Central. It's all built in one industry hub platform. It's given us a follow-up suggestion there. Would you like me to draft the customer recovery email? That would be great. Thank you. Again, then it's just giving you that information in real time. All this sort of stuff, it's taken seconds just to demonstrate how powerful the AI is. Again, could you ask about a specific aspect such as the root cause, affected accounts, financial exposure? Okay, financial exposure. Again, it's just bringing all that data in real time. So again, when I use that phrase game changer, I don't use it lightly, as Kelly will know. So scroll down a little bit here. Share of wallet, our top 5 accounts has slipped. Again, this is huge information which our customers perhaps are not aware of currently, or they have to spend a lot of time finding this information out. Again, we can dig into that. Action plan for share of wallet recovery, immediate this week. Short-term plan, it's then going to say how we're going to track this. Would you map by account? Yeah, yes, please. Sharp decliners, again, accounts for salespeople to focus on. Again, as Kelly said, it's not replacing humans, it's just sharpening our focus on the things that matter and really growing our businesses rather than just putting out fires. So I'm just going to go out of this one again. This workforce talent retention there. There's material cost volatility. If I just go back, I'm going to go into the operations role workspace, so like an ops manager, warehouse manager, logistics manager kind of situation. Theirs is going to look different to the executive one. So again, they've got on-time delivery performance. So on-time delivery dropped from 94.1% to 88.4%. We're going to dig in on that. All this data is coming directly from your ERP, which is the one I guess, the place where all the data is coming from. It's the source of truth, so to speak. So again, you can draft a recovery plan. Again, it's giving us the goal there, work streams, work stream 2 with time scales. I mean, this is just an absolute game changer. I mean, I've been there in this position, forecasting it to builders, merchants, doing all these sort of tasks manually. This would take me hours. And basically the AI is just breaking it down into manageable steps and basically making me more productive. This is literally in the first 5 minutes of my working day. So that's our workspaces piece. You can get a real nice insight of that. There's loads of different aspects, quality and production intelligence, order recovery action planning. This is dynamic, so it'll change day on day, depending on the data as it changes in the ERP and what the AI feels is important to bring it up to you. I'm going to move on to the insights piece. This is just a classic business intelligence sort of dashboard, really, that we're building here at Aptean. The beautiful thing is with ours is that you've got Gen AI Insights. So you can literally click on the AI Insights. I prepped these a little bit earlier before the call. So what are our biggest risks in our receivables right now? We've all thought that. We've all been there. And that's normally a task of maybe producing a report, which takes time, asking someone in accounts, all this sort of stuff. Whereas with our App Central piece, it's just spitting it out in real time. So you've got, based on current data, there are 3 key risks, 3 key accounts. Okay, can you show me the trend for overdue amounts for the last 6 months? Overdue receivables last 6 months. There we go. It's obviously increasing quite considerably. So overdue amounts have increased literally nearly 5x since October. The sharp acceleration in February and March correlates with the Spring 26 launch fulfillment issues flagged in the executive workspace. See how it all links together? Addressing the root cause should slow this trend. Would you like me to break this down by customer or by agent bucket? You can then ask the question. You can follow it up. The AI is sort of intuitive enough to do that. You've got loads of different reports you can use. You can export these, you can download them, you can email them to colleagues. And again, this is just a really nice snapshot of where the business is at. And we've all seen these dashboards, but our sort of user interface, very, very easy to use and very, very configurable. Moving into the last piece, the Gen AI query. This is probably the bit that I'm probably most excited about for our customers. When I was working at the Builders Merchants, I did a SQL course. It was long, it was expensive, it was hard, it was horrible. And basically with Gen AI, it's replacing all that. You don't need to write SQL anymore. You don't need to know how to export data out of the database. You can ask it in plain English and get the insights that you need. That's why we've built Gen AI Query. So let's just go into one here. What is the projected revenue impact? Let's just ask it this question. What is the projected revenue impact if Cincinnati's CNC cell force stays at current capacity through Q3? Again, it's got the answer there. Talk about learning SQL, it's written it for me. So if I want to put that into Merlin as a listing, I can. Again, here's the summary there of all that. It's very, very sort of user-friendly. Let's see, we can ask it a follow-up question. The AI is intuitive enough to know what it thinks you're going to ask. So how are we tracking against their target? Here's the open backlog. You can have a chart of this information. Again, the SQL of this information. You can email this as an Excel to certain employees in the business. You can download it if you want to configure it and manipulate it a little bit. And then it's actually flagged a risk. So casting PO from Heartland Casting Co. slipped by 4 days, putting the June 13th ship date in jeopardy. Penalty exposure is 8,550. I am pretty sure this is information that you would not have been aware of without App Central. Can we pull safety stock to cover? Again, that's a question you're going to ask. I've been there myself in that role. Scorecard, there are single source, so any slippage has outsized impact. Again, but at least we know then what the answer is. If I just go back, I'm just going to go back into Gen AI Query, which customers have the lowest on-time delivery this quarter and what's our penalty exposure? Again, we're just going to go into that. I think that's the one we just asked, actually. Let's go back in here. Build a supplier scorecard. Show their open backlog by ship date. Send a status order update to Apex Drive Buyer. Pull a comparison with other vendors. All this sort of stuff. You can literally do this to your heart's content, really. But again, this part, and I think App Central, and when I say game changer, I'm going to use that word again. This is going to be a game changer for our customers across Aptean, but I think specifically Merlin ERP customers. This is really taken Merlin now into the next level of AI, and we're all really excited to take our customers on that journey. So Kelly, I'll hand that back to you.
Thank you, Ollie. And I think just another point to make on the Gen AI query is obviously we on that example, we're clicking suggestions. You can free type, you can ask it what you want to see as well. You're not sort of defined by those. Very well delivered. Thank you, Ollie. Really insightful. So, you don't have to do everything at once. How many times we've said that over the past few months to customers and prospects alike. The organizations that get the most value from AI are not the ones that go in all in overnight. They're the ones that are taking a more structured approach. So, let's say we start with the high impact, repeatable decisions in the business, stock, pricing, fulfillment. Where are the decisions your team is making every single day that AI could support? We can then embed that capability into the existing workflows. So in Merlin, there's, we're not ripping and replacing. There's no disruption to operation. We are embedding it. So then you're able to measure what changes: the throughput, error rates, decision speed, service levels. The outcomes then move on to sort of speak for themselves. Then we can scale with confidence at your own pace. So, I think what's important is that it's, no one's asking anyone to take a leap of faith. It's a deliberate, low risk path to better operations. And the best part is Aptean can partner on all of this with you every step of the way. We have a whole team of individuals that are working all of this AI functionality and further developing it every single day. So where Merlin ERP fits into this, because this is I've included this because it does get asked, so let's sort of have a look at that, because if we anchor everything within the product, Merlin ERP is Aptean's purpose-built platform for wholesalers, for distributors, for merchants. We are talking about our AI capability being embedded in the platform and not being added on. We've end-to-end control across inventory, pricing, supply chain, and finance. So real-time stock visibility across sites, improved order fulfillment, fewer picking errors. I think I've sort of mentioned this already earlier on. But it's about drilling that home and simplifying it, I think, a little bit. So the platform is built for the specifics. It's not adapted, it's built for it. So I'm going to leave you with 4 things to take away before we do open up for questions. So visibility without action is no longer a competitive position. The bottleneck is in the workflow and not the data. Vertical AI is intelligence built for your industry. We're not repurposed somewhere else, and I think that distinction matters. The path to value is practical, so you don't need to commit to everything at once. Just start where it matters, measure it, then scale. I'm speaking to a customer at the moment, actually, who is looking at how they implement AI into their financial operations. They have a lady retiring, and rather than rehiring, we're actually going to work with the existing team of 3 and implement some more of the AI functionality to help them operate just as a 3. So we're saving there a person's salary. And Merlin ERP and Aptean's intelligence platform, they're already built for this direction. This isn't a roadmap item we're showing you. It exists today. So thank you for listening. I'm going to open up now for questions. We'd be delighted to hear your thoughts, any pressing questions that you have.
Yeah, thanks to you both there. There's lots to digest in there, lots of interesting things. And as you pointed out, Kelly, viewers can send in questions via the chat window. And while we're waiting for some of those to come in, I've got a few questions myself, sort of on a general level, really, but hopefully they'll be of use to people. Are there any sort of common questions that come up from distributors and wholesalers when it comes to integrating AI in their business? What sort of general things they tend to ask, or you tend to get a lot from different customers?
There are, and I could see Ollie nodding there. But so
Yeah,
Ollie, feel free to chip in as well. But I think for me, it's knowing where to start, John. That is the key. I think, before this call, I was on the phone to another Merlin customer actually about they're actually modernizing. They're moving from a traditional on-premise environment into a SaaS environment, software as a service, to take advantage of the hosted security, but the App Central functionality as well. And he called this morning. He sort of said, is there going to be training on this? Like, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Like, so, but you see, it's so intuitive, and I think it's going back to what we mentioned before. It's starting small. Just don't throw everything in and hope that some of this stuff's going to work, because you are going to then spend money on things that you're not necessarily going to use going forward. It's about being really intentional and purposeful with how we implement AI and what we want to use that for. Again, it's not looking at, do we reduce people and we automate no. Our people are still our most important resource, aside from stock, of course. But so it's empowering the workforce, and it's just being more sort of knowledgeable and being able to make those decisions with more information available to you faster. I think that's the key thing. Ollie, I don't know if you've got anything you do want to add.
Yeah, I would say a lot of customers that I'm speaking to about AI at the moment. I mean, it's getting thrown around a lot at the moment in the industry and around the world. I'm of the opinion that this is probably the most advanced technological advancement, definitely in my lifetime so far, since the dawn of computers. Every business now is using computers. I think every business in 5 to 10 years will be using AI. It's the ones that adopt it now and get ahead of the curve that are going to get the most value out of it. I think this is going to be your next computers. Everyone's going to be using it. And like Kelly said, it's really sort of narrowing your focus on where you want the AI to assist, and almost leveraging us as account managers or as people that sort of know your business, to go into your business and say, okay, that department, our AI could help here with this job. How long does that job take you? What happens if you could just tweak that piece there with a little bit of AI involvement that could basically allow you to spend time more on that? And then that's really what's sort of opening up our conversations. I think the key is just not be afraid of AI and just to embrace it. It's not going away. So we've got to embrace it. And I think that we're here to support all of our customers and new customers with embracing this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. That sort of leads on to another question I've got that you've kind of touched on already, Kelly, especially. Obviously, AI has been a hot topic for a long time now. We've been talking about it for quite a while. But myself, and I imagine some of the people watching today, won't really have a really good handle on it in terms of where it's going, keeping up to date with the rapidly changing area. So it's going to seem pretty daunting to stay up to date with these developments. And if you're going to bring it into your business, then obviously that's an investment that you're going to be worried about. So presumably sort of Aptean can help with sort of helping distributors and wholesalers with that sort of developing world of AI.
Yes, absolutely. I think just to give you an example of what we're doing with customers at the moment, on top of the App Central piece is AI as a service. Now, AI as a service is it's custom bespoke digital workforce, I suppose, is the way to think about it. And what we're doing there is we're actually sitting down with the team, with the customer that is that's doing a specific process, and we're running a discovery session on how we can help. Ollie mentioned earlier, looking at tweaks and can we can we help with this? Is that taking you 4 hours a day? What if we can reduce that down to half an hour? So it's sitting and identifying where it can actually help the existing platform, your existing operation. That, like I said earlier, there's no rip and replace. We're not pulling one out and putting one in. So we then run a blueprint session. So that blueprint session is a very in-depth session with anybody involved in that process, and we map out from start to finish what it would need to look like, from sort of opening up the agent to whatever the outcome needs to be. And we are then maintaining that and keeping that up to date. So it's we're keeping up to date for you, and we're able to consult and advise on that. It's a partnership ultimately, as it is with all our customers, be that for ERP, be that for AI. It's about working sort of tightly together. We're almost an extended part of the team quite often. That's what I find. It's being able to pick up the phone, have a conversation, drop an email, or even just drop a Teams message, as often happens now. So I think if you're worried about keeping up to date, I think that's the investment we're making in our business to keep us at the forefront and to future proof not only Merlin and Aptean and its other products, but our customers as well.
Just touching on what Kelly said there, we had our sales kickoff in January, and our chief executive, TVN Reddy, stood up on stage and said, we're an AI first business, Aptean will win the vertical AI race. We've all come away massively enthused by that, because seeing the advancements that we're sort of making for our customers is unbelievable. It can be frightening. You've just got to embrace it. Because it's not going away. I think just touching on what Kelly said there, we like to be an extension of the team. That's absolutely right. I like to be like an advisor to my customers. They can pick up the phone and go, Ollie, this is taking me I've got someone in accounts taking us 4 hours a day to post supplier invoices. That's gold dust to us, because that's where we can really come in and add value. It's very exciting times.
Absolutely. And sort of touching roughly on that topic again, we had a question coming from a John, which is a good name. This guy is asking, for people like me that are totally useless with technology, will there be some form of training and on-site attendance to help identify how we can start our journey and what AI can do to help us initially? So that's quite a good one there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for existing customers, yes. And for those that aren't yet with us and curious as to how Merlin can help and how App Central can help, absolutely, that would be all part of the process. It's getting in front of the people at the forefront of that business, understanding, because no business is the same, John, right? Every it's like people, businesses, everyone, although there are similarities across industries, not one is the same. So it's about getting in there and understanding exactly what makes that team tick and what makes that business tick. But also, yes, the level of training and support that enables you then to just go and it's not like you sort of picking a product, you download the app from an app store and then you're left to it. We're a consultative business, so we're very much about consulting. So in short, yes, absolutely, and I'm sure you're better at technology than you're claiming to be. Yes, absolutely, there is training and support for that and enablement.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what sort of separates us, is that we've got people in place that know your industries, John, and can know how to support you guys. There's nothing that we love better than getting out on site, going to the various departments, talking about the process, talking about how AI can support with that, and just, sort of quelling those fears that you might have and almost switching that into positivity, really. That's what we love doing. That's where I get the kick, really.
Lovely, brilliant. Okay, I've got another sort of really general, broad question for you guys. Is there sort of one or two sort of main takeaways or final thoughts for the people who are sort of watching this, just to take away with them maybe an action point or something they can look at in their business and maybe apply, or take away from, something tangible from this?
Call us. No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'd say, don't go all in initially. Really be intentional about where you want to apply AI. I think another would be, utilize, we were already doing it, we're living it. So, let us consult, let us support, let us sort of advise, because, I would not for any intent or purpose try to claim that I could just jump in and run a fasteners distribution business. For that's what you guys do. What we do is software AI. So it's about partnering and using, try and be a master of all trade, you're a jack of none. That's the saying, right? So use the experts, I think, would be another one. Did you want 3, John, or have I just given myself a 3 number?
Well, 3 sounds good. If you've got another one, do it.
Like, do I need 3? I'm struggling for my 3rd, to be honest. I think
I've got a 3rd if you want one.
I was gonna say, I think I'll hand over to Ollie for number 3. Yeah, go for it.
I would look. I have worked in this industry. Everybody is so busy, right? I would just implore you to take literally half a day or a day in the next 3 to 6 months. Look at every single process in the business and go, are we getting the most out of that process, or have we built workarounds just to work around that problem, right? Because, well, yeah, we call it workarounds. I'm telling you now, the answer will be you will have built workarounds. That's where we come in. To your ERP or software is not designed, nor should not be facilitating you to do workarounds. We should be doing the workarounds. That's the idea here.
Solutions, Ollie.
Solutions. Take that little bit of time and think, okay, that process, there's no way we can't make that process slicker. We all know now margin's a huge thing with the turbulence around the world, raw material cost, fuel cost. Just take a little bit of time, think about how AI can, whether it's with us or whoever it is, just think about it, about those processes. And then, we're always open to a conversation, just to, bat some ideas around, really. So, yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Right. Okay. So let's wrap things up then. Thank you very much to both of our speakers today, Kelly and Ollie from Merlin Business Software from Aptean. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. We hope you found it insightful with plenty of action points and food for thought. We'll be putting a recording of this online soon, so you can go over it again if you like. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.